Hello, my name is Julie Eversole, and today I'll be discussing my research proposal. My research proposal is about what factors influence how Americans feel about the economy. This is a subject that everyone can relate to in our economy. In this picture here, we have the American workers who are striking to raise minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $15 per hour to keep up with the cost of living that we are all facing. It seems that everything has gone up in price, but the wages are not going up with them. Only 27% of Americans think the economy is good. The same amount of Americans, however, feel that the economy is doing poorly. Another 26% of Americans feel that the economy will improve, but another 23% feel that the economy is only going to become worse. In this picture here, we have a map of the United States. This map shows foreclosures across the United States in 2010. Each one of the red dots represents a home that someone has lost. The reason we have this problem is the economists are sticking with failing policies. They have not changed up their policies in quite a while, so the same things keep happening over and over. American jobs are being shipped overseas, and the average wage increase has not been over 2% since 2009. This has resulted in thousands of people losing their homes. In this picture here, we have the Gallup's U.S. Economic Confidence Index. This was done weekly from January 2008 to November 2016. As you can see, there are quite a bit of negative feelings out there. I don't see as many positive. Therefore, there must be quite a few things out there that are causing people to feel negatively toward our economy. I'll be researching the factors that influence the economic thoughts of adults in Southeast Alabama. Gallup polls, like the one shown, will be used that have been done for the last 30 years from news broadcast. Also, I will be using surveys and interviews conducted at local staffing agencies and employment offices. I will do surveys of 500 people, and then the first 25 who wish to volunteer to do further interviews will be used to find more in-depth questions about how and why they feel what they do about the economy and where they get their news information from. That we will also be exploring how the media and politics influence American thoughts. In this picture here, it's the U.S. Congress meeting to either pass a law or discuss a law to be passed. So the government performance does greatly affect the opinion of Americans about the economy. If we have a lot of jobs available for people and they pay well and we are not in debt and the taxes are not through the roof, then people are going to feel more positive about the economy. But if you have a lot of people unemployed or a lot of people who are having to work 2 and 3 jobs because the wages are low and our taxes are high, then you're not going to have as many people doing well financially. So therefore, they're probably going to feel more negative about the economy. News media also influences the public opinion. News media do not always give facts. Sometimes they will say a research that they have is fact-based, but in actuality, they don't have anything to back it up. I found that hard to believe when I first found out, but it's true after all the research I did. Then there is the social media that increases the influence of public opinion. Social media has become very prevalent in our society. You will constantly see people everywhere you go on their phones, and they're on social media forums like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So many times a little pop of a news flash will come up and they'll be like, oh, this must be what's happening today. And little do they realize that not everything that comes up on the internet is true. So they will take this based off no facts to back it up and just take it at face value and believe it. So the social media has become quite influential over the opinions of people today. There were some delimitations and limitations to this study. Participants answered their own survey questions was not 100% certain because these packets were taken home to be done and then returned anonymously. So it cannot be sure if the person who took the survey answered it or returned it. Also, the participants were chosen at places where they were going to be more than likely to be unemployed or underemployed. Also, only adults were sampled in Southeast Alabama using a non-probability sampling. This study was also limited to only what influenced the thoughts and perceptions of participants about the American economy and where they obtained their information from. The limitations were, again, uncertainty of participants answer their own questions because you cannot be 100% certain without observing them yourself. Also, there are varied education levels that affect their answers. People with a high school diploma are going to be much more limited on what type of work and how much their wages are going to be, as opposed to someone who has a 2 or 4 year or more college degree. They're going to be qualified for higher paying jobs and may be able to easier find a job or less likely. It depends on what area they're in, what type of jobs are available. In this area in Alabama, there are less of the higher education jobs as opposed to the lower education jobs. So the people with the lower education jobs do have a better chance of finding a job as opposed to those with a graduate level degree. Also, there was the inability to sample the entire population. Then there's a possibility of more negative than positive responses due to the fact that the people that we were interviewing were at places, the staffing agencies and unemployment offices, where they were more likely to have been unemployed or underemployed for an extended period of time. In our next slide, we have a picture showing that all the mass media that everyone has access to. I remember 20 years ago, we did not have so much access to the internet and all the different entities on the internet like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those. Sorry, I don't know all these, so I don't use them. But this shows the satellite showing all the news broadcasts we could pull, not just from local or state, but national and worldwide. So we really are lucky that we can get access to quite a bit of information compared to how things used to be. And the significance of this study, the data and the findings will enhance the research of what factors influence American economic views. The perceptions are going to range from the unemployed to fully employed people, to the minimally educated to the highly educated people, because this will vary their opinion on the economy. I feel that if people are doing well financially, they're going to view the economy better financially. If people are doing poorly, they're going to see the economy as doing poorly. The data will also show the sources of where Americans get their news. In closing, this research study wants to find out how Americans view the economy. Do Americans care about the economy? What influences how Americans view the economy? And where Americans obtain their news about the economy? Thank you. This has been Julie Eversole.